Hey, good morning.
It's going well. No fee, no review, just confirming that it's on. And then really just so,
Guess I got to turn on my mic. Good morning, everyone. You are at the Palm Beach County Zoning Commission meeting. It is 9 o'clock in the morning, and it is Thursday, June 1st, 2023. At this time, would you call the roll, please?
Commissioner Public, Commissioner Kern,
Here.
Commissioner Kelly, Commissioner Grumman,
Here.
Commissioner Scarborough,
Here.
Commissioner Revis,
Here.
Commissioner Brownfield,
Here.
Commissioner Beatty, Commissioner Southworth.
Here. Okay, opening prayer, Pledge of Allegiance.
Please stand for the opening prayer and the Pledge of Allegiance. Lord, we ask your guidance today as we consider matters that will affect the safety and welfare of many people in our county. Help us listen with open minds to matters that are important before us and to act on those matters that will benefit those who reside in our area. Keep our minds open and alert, our hearts compassionate, and our comments charitable. Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The Zoning Commission of Palm Beach County has convened at 9 o'clock a.m. in the Vista Center, Ken Rogers Hearing Room, BC 1W47, 2300 North Jog Road, West Palm Beach, Florida, to consider applications for official zoning map amendments, plan developments, conditional uses, development order amendments, type 2 variances, and other actions permitted by the Palm Beach County Unified Land Development Code, and to hear the recommendations of staff on these matters. The Commission takes final action regarding the Class B conditional uses, subdivision variances, and type 2 variances, and issues advisory recommendations on accepting, rejecting, or modifying the recommendations of staff regarding other requests. The Board of County Commissioners of Palm Beach County will conduct a public hearing at 301 North Olive Avenue, West Palm Beach, Florida, in the Jane M. Thompson Memorial Chambers, 6th floor at 9:30 a.m. on Thursday, June 22nd, 2023. To take final action on the applications listed below regarding official zoning map amendments, rezoning, Class A conditional uses, plan developments, development order amendments, waiver requests, and administrative inquiries. Zoning hearings are quasi-judicial in nature and must be conducted to afford all parties due process. The Board of County Commissioners has adopted procedures for conduct of quasi-judicial hearings to govern the conduct of such proceedings. The procedures include the following. Any communications with commissioners which occurs outside the public hearing must be fully disclosed at the hearing. Applicants and persons attending the hearing may question commissioners regarding their disclosures. Such questions shall be limited solely to the disclosures made at the hearing or the written communications made a part of the record of the hearing. Any person representing a group or organization must provide documentation that the person representing the group has the actual authority to do so regarding the matter before the commission. Any person who wishes to speak at the hearing shall be sworn in and may be subject to cross-examination. The applicant and county staff may cross-examine the witnesses. Any other persons attending the hearing may submit cross-examination questions, including follow-up questions to the chair who will conduct the examination. The The scope of cross-examination is limited to the facts alleged by the witness in relation to the application. Public comment is encouraged, and all relevant information should be presented to the commission in order that a fair and appropriate decision can be made. Proof of publication, motion to receive and file.
So moved.
Second.
We've got a motion by Commissioner Scarborough, seconded by Mr. Brumfield, Commissioner Brumfield. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Swearing in?
All those wishing to speak or testify on any of today's items, please rise and raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Thank you.
Amendments to the agenda. Oh, I'm sorry, approval of the minutes. Need a motion to approve the minutes.
So moved. Second.
So we got a motion by Commissioner Scarborough, seconded by Commissioner Groman. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, now we move to amendments to the agenda.
We have one item on our amendments to the agenda for item number 4, ZVSV 2022-1021 Tile World. We have a slight modification to compliance condition number 1 to change it from Board of County Commissioners to Zoning Commission.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Chair, motion to adopt the agenda as amended.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Groman, seconded by Commissioner Brumfield. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Disclosures.
No disclosures, Mr. Chair.
No disclosures.
No disclosures.
No disclosures.
I had email communications with the applicant from item number 5.
I spoke with the agent on agenda item number 6.
And no disclosures. Conflicts, recusals?
None, Mr. Chair.
No.
None.
None.
None. Okay, looks like we have a quorum for all the agenda items.
Okay, page 3 of the agenda, it starts off with our postponements and remands. Item number 1 is SV 2022-1887, True Deliverance Church of God. It's a subdivision variance. They requested a postponement. No motion is necessary, so it is administratively postponed to July 6, 2023. We have no withdrawals, so that ends the postponement portion of our agenda and brings us to the consent. So if there is any items you wish to pull from consent.
Okay, thank you. So for clarity, for anyone who is out in the audience that is here for item A1, that has been postponed to July 6th. So don't want you waiting around for no reason. Okay, consent agenda?
Motion to approve the consent agenda as amended.
Second.
We've got a motion by Commissioner Scarborough, seconded by Commissioner Groman. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, moving to the regular agenda.
Okay. Our regular agenda is at the bottom of page 4 of the agenda, item number 6, PDD-CAW 2021-01526. It's called the Lake Worth Crossing MUPD. Staff is recommending approval of the requests that the motions roll over to page 5. We'll turn it over to the applicant for their presentation.
Good morning. I'm Lauren McClellan with J. Morton Planning and Landscape Architecture. This morning I will be presenting the Lake Worth Road Crossing MUPD project.
Yeah, we can,
1 second.
oh,
Sorry, 1 second.
Okay.
yeah, the microphone
it's on.
isn't on, so.
It's on.
Can you start all over?
Yeah, I can start all over.
Thank you so much.
Okay. So I'm Lauren McClellan with J. Morton Planning and Landscape Architecture. I am presenting the Lake Worth Road Crossings MUPD project before you today. With me is Bill Romberg with DTI. He's the architect for the project, as well as Stephanie Guerra with KHA, the traffic engineer. The applications before the Zoning Commission this morning are a rezoning to MUPD, a Class A conditional use for a hospital, as well as a Type 2 waiver for 24-hour operation for the hotel. Staff is in support of these applications. So just to show where the property is. So the 9.34 acre property is located on the south side of Lake Worth Road, west of the Turnpike. You can see from this aerial that a majority of the area around has been either entitled or is under construction or has been built out. So this is one of the last pieces to come in this area of the Lake Worth Road corridor for site plan and zoning approval. So just to bore everybody with a little bit of history about this corridor is unique. It had, the West Lake Worth Road neighborhood plan was adopted for this area. You can see it on the map in 2009. The county adopted a resolution to recognize the West Lake Worth Road neighborhood plan. It was adopted in conjunction with several residents that helped develop the plan. Jerry Bank, he was the president of Summer Chase at the time, Bob Bolia, Patrick Wilson, to name just a few of the members that worked on this project. So here's an enlarged area of the area where the property is. You can see that I've highlighted the site right there in the red commercial area. So on the master plan, this site was designated as commercial on that master plan. So about that same time in 2009, the county adopted an ordinance which changed the future land use amendment on the property to commercial high, but it was at the time combined with the property to the west, so it totaled 19-ish acres. And that whole property was changed to commercial high, and it had several conditions of approval attached to it that were put on the comp plan amendment for consistency purposes with the neighborhood plan. So I'm going to summarize them because it's a lot of words. Basically, it limited the 19-acre property to 300,000 square feet of commercial uses. It required that the property have a mix of at least 3 uses, which included retail, restaurant, office, institutional, hotel, and residential. It also further dictated the form of development. It dictated that it be developed in the form of a lifestyle commercial center, which required vertical integration as well as horizontal integration and block structure development. Some of the other conditions that were imposed had to do with cross-access to adjacent properties, as well as restricting single-tenant developments to no more than 65,000 square feet. So to continue on with the history, so in 2018, I'm going to use the word half loosely. So the western half, which was about 8.83 acres, came in, and they asked for a comp plan amendment just to the conditions of approval because they were only half of this 19-acre piece. And they said, well, we can't develop consistent with block structure. It's not big enough. And so they proposed to strike all of the LCC block structure design conditions at that time. And they took their proportionate share of square footage. It was just over 145,000 square feet of commercial. They kept the language that restricted single tenants to no more than 65,000 square feet. And they also kept the language that required cross-access to adjacent properties. So this project, our 9.34 acres. We do have a concurrent small-scale amendment, basically to kind of mirror what was done for the Western Haley Farms property. We are proposing to strike the same conditions that Haley Farms struck. We are taking our proportionate share of commercial, which is just over 154,000 square feet of commercial uses. And we are keeping the same no single tenant more than 65,000 square feet, and we are keeping the cross-access connections. So this is the zoning map. You can see that the property is surrounded by a majority of commercial uses. We have commercial to the east, which is going to be developed or has site plan approval for a daycare, and then to the south and to the west of our site is the Polo Gardens MUPD. It was approved a couple of years ago, and then more recently a development order amendment came before the zoning commission to change some of the commercial uses out front. It's got 3-story multifamily units kind of around the lake. It's under construction now. And then to the west of that is the Polo Legacy project, which is another mixed use commercial and residential project, and then some commercial uses to the north. And then directly to the north is a place of worship, and then beyond that is the Summer Chase HOA, which I'll get into that a little bit later. So here's the site plan that is before the commission today. As I mentioned, the property is already designated as commercial high on the future land use atlas. We are proposing to rezone it to MUPD in order to be consistent with the commercial high future land use. We are proposing a total of 109,808 square feet. And the uses being proposed are a 127-room hotel, a 46,000 square foot medical office building, and an 11,000 square foot hospital. The hospital is going to be like an HCA urgent care hospital. Access to the property will be via a right-in, right-out only on Lake Worth Road, cross access to the Polo Gardens property to the west, and then 2 access points, one on the north, one on the south, to Hooks Road. The total FAR for the project is 0.27, which is well below what the comprehensive plan would allow of 0.5. The maximum building height is 3 stories, which is consistent with the 3 stories which are currently under construction for the Polo Gardens project. So for the community outreach, I had previous conversations with Bob Bolia. He was the West Lake Worth Road Coalition representative that I was talking to. I talked to him at the end of last year, the beginning of this year. And then in April, this project was scheduled for the May Zoning Commission, and we postponed from that May Zoning Commission in order to have time to meet with the Summer Chase residents. They came and asked for the postponement at the last hearing. So the week of on May 9th, we met with Summer Chase HOA. And they voiced numerous concerns, mostly that had to do with traffic along Lake Worth Road. So we had scheduled a meeting with Summer Chase, with the county traffic, as well as with FDOT to talk about the Lake Worth Road improvements that were already in place for the stretch of Lake Worth in front and beyond our property. Out of that meeting, the county had agreed to perform a traffic timing study for this corridor of Lake Worth Road in response to the comments that were raised by the neighbors. So there are neighbors here, and I suspect that a lot of what they're concerned that you will hear has to do with this intersection that I've kind of clouded in on the map. So it is to the north and to the west of our site slightly. There's a signal at Polo Club Road, and there's also a signal to the east at the Florida Turnpike. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit and show the current access configuration for Lake Worth Road. So Summer Chase, you can see the arrows on the north side. They currently have a right in and a right out, as well as a full median opening, which allows for left in and left out. And then I've put our site plan on there, which is to the east. We have no access to this median. We're right in, right out only. That's shown there. So this is going to be the new access. I'll go back so you can kind of see what happened. Once FDOT finishes their Lake Worth Road improvements, all that has been eliminated is a left in. The residents of Summer Chase will be able to still make a left out to go east from their neighborhood. So in conclusion, this property has been designated as commercial high since 2009, which is consistent with the approved neighborhood plan. The proposed square footage is less than what we are going to be allocated of 154. We're at roughly 109,000 square feet. The proposed uses, including the hotel, hospital, and office, were identified in the original conditions of approval in 2009, and the traffic study has been reviewed and approved by the county as well as by FDOT. The improvements to Lake Worth Road were already in process prior to the subject application. This application is consistent with the county's ULDC, comp plan, the neighborhood plan. And on behalf of the applicant, we respectfully request approval of the rezoning Class A conditional use for the hospital and waiver to allow 24-hour operation, as well as the staff is recommending approval. If you have any questions, I'm available.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I do have a question for you.
Sure.
Can you explain a little bit more about the hospital operations? You mentioned it's an emergency hospital. Can you explain how that actually works? It's not exactly a large square footage, 11,000 square feet. Is it like a surgical center? Is EMS bringing them there? How's this working?
My understanding is it is an urgent care hospital.
Mm-hmm.
So it's small, like an urgent care clinic. It's going to be owned and operated by HCA.
By HCA, okay.
HCA.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions of the applicant?
I have a question, Mr. Chair,
Okay.
to follow up on your question. So you're calling this a hospital, and isn't there a certificate of need that needs to be issued by the state in order to sort of operate this as a hospital?
It's all in the license. My understanding from how it operates is it's all in the licensing of the use. So if it's licensed as a hospital because it's got some affiliation, then it is deemed by the zoning code as a hospital and not as medical office.
So do you need to have an approval first before you apply for the certificate of need, or how does that go?
I don't know.
It's not a hospital in the traditional sense. It's a hospital that meets our code. So our code isn't synonymous with the state. However, they define, and I don't believe certificate of need is a thing anymore for this type of use.
I see. So it's fitting the county's definition of a hospital as opposed to whatever the state looks at. That I completely understand. One other question, and that is eastbound Lake Worth Road. Is there a decel lane to enter into the property? I ask this question all the time because it's almost impossible for me to tell from looking at the map. It looks like the ROW is there, but is there a decel lane?
I believe so. Let me check the site plan
Okay.
real quick.
I would just add on that there is no certificate of need anymore. They've eliminated that for hospitals.
Yes, there is, at their entrance.
Okay, so the question's been answered. Okay, great, yeah.
Couldn't remember.
And do we have any LOS issues with regards to either the intersection to the east or west of this location? You know what the rating?
The intersection, the Polo Road and Lake Worth Road intersection will operate at the adopted level of service with timing optimization.
Okay, so is that a D or?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's D.
All right, thank you. No further questions.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? Okay, staff?
Okay, we'll turn it over to Cody to do a presentation.
Good morning, Zoning Commission. Cody Sisk with the Zoning Division. The application before you, is this one on?
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, again. The application before you is PDD CAW 2021-1526. I'm sorry, I'm just having a difficulty with this.
You can click Carlos for him, so he doesn't have to, if the clicker's not working, you have to hit the, okay, click for him. Thank you. Yep.
There we go. The application before you is PDD CAW 2021-1526, Lake Worth Crossing, MUPD. It's located at the southwest corner of Lake Worth Road and Hooks Road. The site consists of 9.34 acres and has a future land use of CH with an underlying 2 units per acre with an existing zoning of agricultural residential. The request is for to allow rezoning from MUPD, a Class A conditional use for a hospital, a Type 2 waiver to allow extended hours of operation within 250 feet of a parcel with a residential flue. The preliminary site plan shows 3 buildings. Building A. Yeah. Building A is 51,899 square feet. The hospital is 11,000 square feet. Building C is a medical office with 46,909 square feet. The access point is from Lake Worth, and 2 other points are from Hooks Road. At the May 4th Zoning Commission, the item was postponed to allow the applicant to meet with the neighbors on the north side of Lake Worth Road. A meeting was held on May 9th with the agent, their traffic consultant, and interested parties on the north side of Lake Worth Road. The main topic was the traffic impacts to the residents north of Lake Worth, and staff recommends approval of the request.
Okay, that was quick, thank you. Any questions of staff? Okay. At this time, we'll open this up for public comment. We have several cards that are in opposition, that do not wish to speak, several that do wish to speak. We do have some rules that we wish for you to comply with, and that is, please come up to alternate for those who wish to speak, either podium. Please state your name and address for the record. And you have 3 minutes to tell us your story.
I'll call each individual up, so as I call, pick a mic to go to. So first, Tonya Moore and Clay Rome.
Good morning, Zoning Commission. My name is Tony Armour. I'm one of the pastors at Reveal Fellowship. We are just west of Summer Chase, about a half a block or so. We see on the weekend over 300 people that come to our house of worship. And now it's getting just a bit difficult to be able to come out and make the left on, Polo Chase Road, I think it is. Our concern is within the week and during the week, being able to come out and make the right hand, we can only make a right hand turn, to get over to the left lane to make this U-turn at the light. At the U-turn at the light, the people who are going north are able to turn right while we're trying to make the U-turn. And it's becoming more and more difficult, more and more dangerous to be able to make this happen. Coming out myself, personally yesterday coming out, it took maybe 2 or 3 minutes just to get out of our parking lot to get over to the left lane. I'm not sure how things can get slowed down in that area, but I'm sure you're about to hear about it with the people that are coming out of Summer Chase. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you. I might have met Clay Rome. Is he coming up to speak? Am I saying that right?
It's Kime.
Kime? I'm sorry.
Sorry, bad penmanship.
Okay, no worries.
Blame Mrs. Weaver in 3rd grade. Anyhow, my name is Clay Kime. I'm at 4021 Summer Chase Court. I was born and raised in Palm Beach County. I grew up in Hype Biloxi Island. I have lived here for almost 70 years. I've seen a lot of changes, as I'm sure all of you have. And one of the things I think that gets left out here is that Lake Worth Road is an east-west road. And as the summer progresses, the daylight hours increase, the sun in the driver's eyes increases, and that does definitely cause additional congestion on the highway. We only have one entrance in and out of our neighborhood. We are, I guess, opposing this rezoning. The hotel is a new issue, although it may have been discussed at some point before. Part of the my understanding of the changes here are that the hotel has been added. That's 127 rooms of people who are unfamiliar with the area who's going to compound traffic issues. We did have a Zoom meeting with some county people and some state people several weeks ago. We have seen no measurement devices to indicate that they're doing any sort of a traffic study, although I don't know if they're doing it by satellite, maybe, I don't know. But the traffic is bad and it gets worse. And the additional uses here may have been fine in 2009, but this is not 2009. And the conditions now, this is where we live. And I sort of feel like I'm, living between Migdal and the sea. And, we got the Egyptian chariots coming at us, and we don't have the luxury of having the Red Sea parted. So we need a way to get in and out safely. It's not safe. And I don't know if we have to wait until somebody gets injured or killed before somebody will take action. But we oppose this. It is not good for the community. It's unnecessary. I don't know how many urgent cares there are within a few mile radius. So there need to be some alternative methods of us getting in and out of a neighborhood that are safe. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next, Bob Sosnowski and Ron Tamburello. When you come up, please just state your name and the address for the record, please.
Hi, my name's Bob Sosnowski, and my address is 8241 Lake Cypress Road. I met you all last time at the meeting here, asked for a postponement at that time, and we're here again asking for your help. I'm currently the president of the Summer Chase Homeowners Association Board of Directors, and I'm here today representing my 55 and older community of 221 households. As I told you last time I was here, Summer Chase was built and has been thriving since 1993. Our residents have paid taxes to Palm Beach County for the last 30 years, and we feel as though the needs and concerns of our community have been ignored and trivialized. We are requesting another postponement in the matter before you today, known as Lake Worth Crossing MUPD. Our reasons for requesting this postponement are many, and I will detail the major ones for you today. Number one, while it is true that the developers, the FDOT, Palm Beach County DOT, have met with us, those meetings were hastily organized after we had begged for them. At the first meeting at Summer Chase, attendees actually were late, and believe it or not, it was due to the traffic. At both meetings, Summer Chase concerns were largely dismissed, and it was clear none of the people were interested in helping us, only in checking boxes after we pushed. I was unable to attend the short notice Zoom meeting on the 24th, and I had asked for written confirmation of the fixes that they were offering, both to Mr. Overton and to Mr. Turk. But I was ignored and received no response in writing. A red flag for sure. The options that have been presented to us, that the lights of the Turnpike and Polo Road would be timed to allow us time to exit Cypress Isle Way, even to make a right-hand turn, together with a traffic box, is really unacceptable due to the traffic now. Imagine how ineffective that would be in the future as you build 2 medical buildings, 2 hospitals, a hotel, and about 400 to 500 homes that none are currently occupied. Imagine how ineffective it will be in the future. The traffic reports that are being used to support all these changes before you is based on traffic data that oftentimes is flawed and outdated. We urge the Commission to require new and accurate traffic studies that include convergence. One done in April 2020 was actually done when the county and the state were actually shut down completely for COVID. So what kind of traffic study is that? And that was what was first presented to us last year. I've met with Commissioner Baxter, who has been supportive with me about finding a solution. Perhaps the developers paying for another exit from our community. We appreciate Commissioner Baxter's support, but we feel the logistics of this option are onerous.
Time's up, sir.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ron Tamburello and Ira Solomon will be next.
Morning.
Good
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
My name is Ron Tamburello. I live at 3843. Who are you? Clay. Oh, Clay. Thank you. Just kidding. 3843 Summer Chase Court. Our community is made up of people in their 70s, 80s, 90s, whatever. I'm one of them. I could tell you right off that my reaction time is not what it used to be when I was your age, okay? So trying to get out of our development, and for an example, so many people leave to get on the turnpike. If we want to get on the turnpike southbound, we would have to come out of our development, negotiate 3 lanes of people traveling about 60 miles an hour to get to the light at Polo now, and we would have to cross 3 lanes to hit the 4th lane, which is the left-hand turn lane. Now, if we make it through there without getting killed, then we have to wait for the people coming northbound out of Polo, who are going right on red. While they're coming out, we got to wait for them to clear before we can turn. And if we get through that before the light changes red for us, if we do get through, we've got to cross 3 more lanes of eastbound traffic to get in the right-hand lane to get on the turnpike. It's impossible to do. Now, all I'm really concerned about is I don't think we can stop this train that's coming down the tunnel right at us. But what I do request is that a traffic light be put in our community so that we can safely leave our homes. That's all we're asking. You know, picture your mothers and fathers or grandparents. If they live there, would you want them to have to negotiate this? How many people are familiar with actually that intersection? Could I see a show of hands? How many people have been there to see what? Okay, so you're not really familiar with it. We just don't want to die. And we don't want to sit here forever. You can smile if you want. But again, our reaction, you know, someday you're going to be our age. And you're going to want to go places and do things safely. Our safety and well-being is what's at stake. Now, we need your help. We need your support. We've looked at so many alternatives, had discussions, what can we do? And all that's coming out of it is that we need a traffic light. Now, I know it's going to be very close to the one currently there at Polo. But it's going to help us to safely get in and out of our community. I mean, our way of life is changing before our eyes. Within the last year, this has all become new to all of us. We didn't know that there were going to be tens of thousands of new homes and people coming right across the street on the south side of Lake Worth Road. And now this latest thing going on here. But we need your help.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Time's up.
Please help us. Can I read this too? No.
After Ira, we have Lenore Glickman.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Ira Solomon, 3710 Springcrest Court. I'm a resident of Summer Chase. Prior to that, my parents were residents of Summer Chase, and in their 80s, my biggest fear was not of their health issues, but of them trying to go out into the traffic in front of our community. Our residents have requested a traffic light for many, many years, and it might not have been warranted in your eyes back in 2009, but it certainly is warranted now. The ever-increasing growth of traffic that's being dripped upon our community, communities being built, hospitals, hotels. Lake Worth Road is unnavigable, okay, to get out from our community, to get over 3 lanes to make a U-turn. Now, let's go back to the whole U-turn concept. Let's just take a look at your houses, and if we all of a sudden said, hey, you know, you can't go home the way you normally go. We want you to go 8 blocks out of the way, make a U-turn, navigate a traffic light, navigate 3 lanes of traffic, just to go into the home that you bought, okay, is absolutely, you know, unfathomable, okay? It's creating a peril to our community and to the seniors that live there, and many of them are in their 80s and early 90s that are driving still, okay, let alone the emergency response time delays that might occur to get back into our community to help these people at a time of emergency. The traffic studies that have been done, as Bob started to allude to, and he was time restricted, you did traffic studies in the middle of COVID when nothing was happening. Okay, they just proposed, at our last meeting, the FDOT, to do a signal timing study, okay, over the next couple of weeks. Well, hey, school is out. Okay, when does school come back in? It comes back in August when that high school is being built and opened on Lyons Road, a few blocks from us. That's going to exacerbate the situation that we have right now. Okay. Again, time is running out, but I want to implore the people on this board to do what is in their power to get a traffic light, because FDOT and everybody else seems to be passing the buck. Oh, we can't do it. We've got these regulations. We've got this. But the reality is there are people in my community that might be critically injured or die because of the lack of action, okay, and the approval on all of these projects that are being done without supplying a traffic light on Cypress Isle Way in order for our residents to get in and out of the community safely. I thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Lenore Glickman.
I'm Lenore Glickman. I live at 3685 Springcrest Court, Lake Worth. I'm going to reiterate the same thing that everybody else is saying. Do you know we're having 2 hospitals across the street from us? One by the apartments that I still can't figure out how DeVasta was building $500,000 houses, now became apartments. God knows how many apartments are there. I didn't count all of them, but it takes up about 4 or 5 streets of full lines of apartments. How they got that passed without anybody knowing about it, I can't figure this out. No more houses. Now we have apartments by the turnpike. We have apartments all over the place. We can't get out of our place. Now, the nice man from the DOT at the last meeting we had with him on Zoom, he was lovely. He told us this isn't his business. This isn't his job. The traffic light, he can't do anything for us. He'll try to do a study, but it's going to take some time. Then he said, how about don't go to Polo Road, go to the next one to make a U-turn. If that's no good, go to the next block to make a U-turn. Should we go up to 441 and make a U-turn? Where you have State Road 7, 441 Lake Worth Road. Do you know what's doing there, the traffic? I mean, you people are doing nothing for us. Absolutely nothing. We're going to be killed. And I don't know if it's true, 7 people have to die to get a light. So are 7 of our residents going to have to die to get a light? I mean, I don't understand the whole thing what goes, you don't care about us. I mean, Lake Worth Road is a zoo right now. You go there at certain times in the morning, the afternoon, at night, you're finished. You go 4 o'clock in the afternoon and come home 4:41 to come home to our place, forget it. It's a parking lot. And what do we need 2 hospitals there? Cleveland Clinic is coming in on Lyons and Lake Worth Road. They're coming in with a hospital and 3 office buildings. Now, next to the church, 3 medical buildings. I don't understand what's going on there. Are you going to have this many people coming and using all those things? And one of your hospitals coming in on the corner of Polo went bankrupt last year in California. So let the hospital come in, go bankrupt, and you're going to have a hospital standing there doing nothing. Guys, it's in your ballpark. I hope you do something for us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have anyone else?
Nope, that's all the comment cards we had that wanted to speak. The rest will go into record as requested.
Okay. All right, thank you. Any questions of cross-examination?
Yeah, I think now would be the appropriate time if the applicant had any rebuttal to public comment.
Good morning. For the record, my name is Stephanie Guerra with Kimley Horton Associates, and my team conducted the traffic impact study for this project. I did just want to add, there were a couple of comments about studies that were done during COVID. I know that there was, during 2020, FDOT had done a signal warrant analysis at that time, but they have indicated to us that since meeting with the Summer Chase residents in 2022 that they had done another signal warrant analysis, and that as part of that, it's still, their intersection still does not meet the requirements for a signalization there.
Can I ask what requirements would be needed to have a signal there? And I don't know, again, with traffic, because they seem to be pretty close together. I don't know if there's a...
Spacing does factor in, but typically it's the MUTCD, which is the Manual on Uniform Traffic Control Devices, indicates that certain volumes need to be met, not just on the major street, which is Lake Worth Road, but on the minor street, which is going to be the Summer Chase entrance. And it needs to be met for a minimum of 8 hours in a given day in order to justify that. Now, there are some variances that are allowed for crash history at that location, which are not fatality-based, but rather having 5 or more crashes within a given year that could be susceptible to correction by a signal. And we reviewed some of the county's traffic data over the last 5 years and the crashes at that location, and they did not meet that criteria.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, to follow up on that, so what you're saying is that FDOT told you that there's a proximity issue to the other intersection. Isn't the IT have some sort of proximity requirements, and maybe the county's traffic engineer could speak to that as well, where you can't really have intersections that are too close to each other? That's question number one. Question number two is the Summer Chase exit is not really aligned with another entranceway, right? It's misaligned with, there's no cross road, isn't that correct?
So to answer your first question, yes, there are certain access management standards. Those are indicated by FDOT. They have certain access classes for signals. So it can be a half mile, it may be a quarter mile, depending on the access class. In this case, they would be too close together, but if that leg of the intersection were to meet signal warrant standards, it might be something that they would consider. However, due to both the spacing and the volumes at that location, it does not meet signal warrant criteria. And then to answer your second question, yes, it is misaligned.
And the traffic engineer, would you concur to that?
Yes, that's true.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions of the applicant and/or staff? Okay. Any other comments from staff?
I would like to say this neighborhood was part of a neighborhood planning process, and there was a lot of future land use amendments that came along this corridor over the past, since about 2007. The neighborhoods involved formed what was called the West Lake Worth Road Coalition. There was Jerry Bank at the helm of that organization. Now we have Mr. Wilson, who I believe is here. And those homeowners associations were very vocal and very much involved in the creation of the neighborhood plan and the review of every single future land use amendment application and zoning application to date. This board today is an advisory body. There is no action taken today on any of the components of this application. There's no resolution for this board today. It's all at the Board of County Commissioners' approval. There's no resolutions because there's no variances or anything. I would recommend an action taken today and not any further postponements, because the traffic situation along this corridor was addressed with every future land use amendment to date. The proposal is within the confines of the future land use amendment condition that cap traffic. It falls within that range. And this is implementing a future land use designation that hasn't been in place for quite some time.
Okay, thank you. I do have a question. Yeah, this is obviously, it's traffic related, but under an MUPD, there are other uses that can go in here that has a higher intensity and a higher traffic rate. Is that a correct statement? Than a hotel and an emergency medical service?
Yeah, the commercial is allowed on this site, right? So the commercial property, there is no commercial here, but the commercial land use will generate more traffic on this site if that was the case.
Yeah, but my question is there are other uses that could go onto this site that would be higher traffic generations?
Correct.
And he's agreeing with you.
Yeah. So, thank you.
Yeah.
I want to follow up with that as well, for a question for Lisa. So isn't the gross square footage on the site capped at some point so that you'd have to match the traffic one for one?
Yeah, Brian can respond to the FLUA amendment.
Yeah, the amendment, I think it's 154.9 is what it's capped at, and that was the traffic that was allowed. And so it's the 350, the long-range traffic analysis, that's in the amendment. That's the cap on the square footage. They're not anywhere near, I think they're at like 110,000 overall. So they're not approaching it, but usually the way those get conditioned is it's or equivalent trips up to that. So you could choose more square footage at a lower traffic generation rate.
Right, but they can't just gross the whole property up, go over the cap.
Oh, no,
Right.
that's not allowed. That's the restriction in the land use atlas.
Okay. Okay. Any other comments, questions? Okay, I'll entertain a board discussion. Pardon?
There's a gentleman raising his hand in the audience. Do we need?
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, you don't have to do that. If you have closed public comment, you don't have to.
Yeah, we've already closed public comment. I'm sorry. Did you provide a card?
I did.
He was.
Okay, but you wish not to speak. Oh, you already spoke. Okay.
There's no rebuttal.
Yeah. Yeah. We've heard your discussion. Thank you very much. Okay.
Excuse me, you gave her.
Board discussion.
You gave them rebuttal time.
Public comment is closed. Thank you so much for your comments.
They're the applicant, though. There's a different.
Oh,
And point of order,
Oh, yeah,
Mr. Chair, is the examination period was also called and closed.
so through the procedures, the applicant has a right to cross-examine or to rebuttal. So we're following through procedures. So, okay, public comments closed.
Members of the public have a right to cross-examine, but as you mentioned, the public comment has been closed, and we've moved on throughout the order. According to the order in the quasi-judicial rules of procedure, it's at the chair's discretion to modify the order if appropriate, but you're within your rights to continue on in the order that you've done so far.
I don't know how the vote's going to fall, but as was mentioned by staff, this is an advisory board, and it goes to county commission next month. So.
No, this month at the end.
Oh, this month?
Yeah.
Okay. What's the date? What's the date?
Be June 22nd, and it's at downtown, 301 North Olive, at the county commission chambers there.
Thank you. Okay. Entertain a motion or any other discussion amongst the board?
Move to recommend approval of item 6A.
Second.
We got a motion to approve by Commissioner Scarborough, and seconded by Commissioner Kern. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Aye. Okay, so we have six yeas, 1 nay.
Move to recommend approval of item 6B.
Second.
We got a motion by Commissioner Scarborough, seconded by Commissioner Kern. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, so we have 6 yeas, 1 nay.
Move to recommend approval of item 6C.
Second.
We got a motion by Commissioner Scarborough, seconded by Commissioner Kern. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Okay, once again, we have 6 yeas, 1 nay. Thank you very much. At this time, any comments from
No comments.
City Attorney? Okay.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All right. Thank you,
All right.
everyone.
Aye.